Welcome to News Mongolia, where we bring you the latest stories and updates from across the nation and beyond. I'm Batsirin Namshar. On News Mongolia today, Mongolia's energy sector reform yields mixed progress with rising demand and structural challenges. World Health Organization states that 60% of Mongolian teens have tried e-cigarettes. Regulations are needed. Parents and educators say heavy homework loads overwhelm students. For the news, stay tuned. Mongolia's energy sector continues to face structural and labor challenges despite reform efforts, with 24.7% of electricity still imported in 2024. While smart meters and tariff adjustments have helped stabilize operations, experts stress that deeper governance and systemic reforms are urgently needed. In 2024, Mongolia imported 24.7% of its energy, highlighting the energy sector's ongoing challenges. Experts stress that energy reform is not just about raising tariffs. It requires fundamental restructuring and improved governance within energy companies. Recent price hikes have helped stabilize operations, but long-standing practices of compensating deficits between regions rather than applying market principles have left the sector vulnerable. In key production hubs like Dornrov and Rovsumber provinces, it's nearly impossible to find qualified technical workers. Each year, we post 30 to 40 vacancies with no applicants, even after lowering requirements. Despite increasing wages slightly at the end of last year, we still face severe labor shortages. However, as a result of these changes, workforce turnover has slowed, and we have managed to stabilize operations during peak loads. Last year, Mongolia's energy consumption reached 11.6 billion kilowatt-hours, an increase of 5.9% from 2023. Peak demand hit 1,650 megawatts in winter, up 1.2% from previous year. While future demand is difficult to predict, companies are carrying out phased renovations to reduce operational risks. Governance remains a critical issue for energy companies. At the upcoming National Energy Forum, we expect to address this at the policy level. Reform is not optional, it's essential. Although the energy supply still carries risks, the number of sources has increased, which gives us some room for optimism. In 2024, the Energy Regulatory Commission installed smart meters for 29,300 households, reducing energy losses and saving approximately 12.7 billion MNT. These meters also enable households to monitor their usage, helping them cut electricity costs. While challenges remain, last year's sectoral review highlights tangible improvements alongside persistent structural issues. E-cigarette use among Mongolian youth is surging, with 60% having tried them. The World Health Organization is urging regulation as aggressive marketing and weak laws fuel a growing health threat.
The World Health Organization reports that approximately 60% of adolescents in Mongolia have experimented with e-cigarettes. A recent study found that within a 500-meter radius of schools in central Ulaanbaatar, there is an average of over 13 shops selling e-cigarettes. 45% of these retailers place e-cigarettes near chewing gum, and 20% display them next to sweets and other youth-oriented products. Advertising often includes discounts, enticing flavor imagery, and puff count labels, tactics shown to attract young users.
Studies have been conducted among 15 to 18 years olds, and sadly, 1 in 3 children in this age group is using e-cigarettes. These products are just as harmful as traditional tobacco. Besides nicotine, they contain various harmful chemicals.
E-cigarettes are currently not covered under Mongolia's tobacco law. They enter the country as electronic goods, avoiding tobacco taxes and selling at lower prices. This opens the door for these products to take over 1/3 of the tobacco market. If we don't take protective measures, we risk failing to safeguard our children's health. According to the World Health Organization, nicotine from e-cigarettes causes lasting harm to the developing brains of adolescents and significantly increases the risk of addiction. E-cigarettes also pose serious respiratory risks, including lung damage and inflammation. The WHO recommends strict import restrictions, limiting nicotine content and banning the display and sale of such products near children and teens.
It is very important to understand how the market of e-cigarettes is in Mongolia, because we know that the availability and access and the exposure of adolescents will increase the propensity of the young population to take e-cigarettes. And this study that is undertaken by WHO will show what we have already suspected, that the e-cigarettes market in Mongolia is increasing explosively. And you can see from the study that in 2020, the value of e-cigarettes in the market was only about $1,000, but in 2024 it has exploded to $21 million. So it means that the e-cigarettes are very much available even to the ordinary stores, and adolescents can access them without regulations. So this study is going to show the extent to which e-cigarettes are distributed across the market and the extent to which young populations, especially adolescents, are being exposed. And this is a very important signal and a call to the government to put stringent regulations, including WHO advocating for the ban on e-cigarettes all along, because other countries and many countries in the world have selected to ban rather than to regulate, to ensure that the population are protected.
Experts warn that Mongolia's e-cigarette market is rapidly expanding, growing from $6.7 million in 2021 to over $21 million in 2024. Before 2021, e-cigarettes represented a negligible share of tobacco imports, but by 2024, they accounted for about 23%. The growing health threat highlights the need for not only regulatory oversight, but also increased awareness and vigilance from parents and caregivers.
A recent study from Ulaanbaatar's General Education School number 23 revealed that Mongolian students are overwhelmed by excessive homework, prompting educators to call for more balanced and creative assignments.
Students in Mongolia's general education system face increasingly heavy homework loads, with many saying they often stay up past midnight to complete assignments. On average, general education school students study 18 to 19 subjects. Students and parents report that the volume of homework leaves students little time for rest or leisure, and in some cases, it even reduces their motivation to learn. Sometimes I just can't finish everything, and then the teacher gets angry. We're given a lot of homework. Since school ends late, I'm already exhausted. There is a quite lot of homework. Every assignment needs to be reviewed beforehand, so it has to be done thoroughly. My child ends up staying up late to finish everything. It would be better if homework was structured more systematically and matched their age and development level.
Honestly, teachers seem to be assigning too much work. We're spending the entire evening on it.
Ulaanbaatar's school number 23 surveyed over 1,000 students to evaluate homework burdens. The survey revealed that 32% of students spent 2 to 3 hours per day on homework, while 26% spent 3 to 4 hours. Teachers explained that the high volume of content in the curriculum requires reinforcement through homework. However, school number 23's academics department now advises teachers to assign more engaging tasks that foster creativity rather than simply increasing student workloads.
Completely eliminating homework isn't possible. Reinforcement is essential, especially in science subjects. Without review and repetition, students won't fully absorb the material or develop the necessary skills. The overload likely stems from too many academic content-based subjects.
With proper time management, homework would not feel so burdensome, but students are not managing their time well. They don't properly allocate time for rest or study, so they end up rushing to complete assignments, which leads to burnout. I think it's more appropriate to assign creative tasks that match children's interests, activities they can work on collaboratively in teams. These types of assignments are more meaningful. Education experts emphasize that homework should not simply keep students busy, but rather foster their intrinsic motivation to learn. Assignments should be designed to encourage creative thinking and student initiative. Several countries have adopted what is known as the 10-minute rule for homework. Under this model, primary school students are expected to spend only 15 to 20 minutes on homework per night, with the duration increasing by 10 minutes for each subsequent grade level.
You're watching News Mongolia. Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Now let's take a look at international news from our partner agencies. Cambodia and China have launched their biggest ever joint military exercise, signaling deepening defense ties between the two nations. The Golden Dragon 2025 exercise officially kicked off on Wednesday and will run for the next 2 weeks, featuring land, sea and air operations.
The opening ceremony was held at the Royal Cambodian Gendarmerie Training Center in Kampong Shannan Province. It was attended by high-ranking officials from both sides. Chinese state broadcaster CCTV aired scenes from the event over the weekend. The Golden Dragon drills began in 2016, following Cambodia's decision to cancel similar military engagements with the United States. Since then, the joint exercises have expanded in scope and size. This year's marks the largest yet. Cambodia is widely regarded as China's closest ally in Southeast Asia. Beijing's aid and investment have played a major role in Cambodia's rapid economic growth in recent years. Chinese President Xi Jinping visited Cambodia in April, further reinforcing bilateral ties. One of China's most high-profile projects is the expansion of the Ream naval base on Cambodia's southern coast, a move that has drawn concern from the international community. Critics fear it could serve as a strategic base for the Chinese Navy in the Gulf of Thailand. Phnom Penh has denied any such arrangement. With more than 1,000 troops from both countries participating, Golden Dragon 2025 reflects not only growing military cooperation, but also China's expanding influence in the region.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Goodbye.